Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 21st of 2023, and given that we're getting closer to the D23 event in which multiple announcements are to be made on all fronts, such as Marvel, Star Wars, and just the Disney live-action remakes, but don't expect a lot of them because they are dwindling down set announcements because of all things happening with the current lockdowns, development-wise for Star Wars, Marvel, and more, and let's not forget about everything happening with the WGA strike and everything happening with SAG, delaying a lot of projects as well. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's going on with Gina Carano and exactly how things are going with Disney right now because of what Gina recently did. Now, we've been talking about this on and off the past couple of days and how there's been a very big development happening between Carano and how Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy began to get very desperate, along with the Disney board, to really get Gina back into the role of Star Wars' Cara Dune in multiple projects, and the situation just keeps getting more worse and complicated than usual. Now, we know that Gina was, in my opinion, fired in the worst way possible, in the most unprofessional way that really, honestly, you would think that Disney would get into legal trouble that way. I mean, let's just be honest here, that was not the way to go about doing that, especially by spewing it on social media through others associated with Lucasfilm, such as Freddie Prinze Jr., the list goes on from there. But what's interesting on top of this is that with Lucasfilm currently struggling to this day with Star Wars TV shows and movies because of Disney, Bob Iger, and more, one major development has to do with Gina Carano and what she did to Disney just recently. Now, not only did Gina Carano recently refuse Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger's request for her to return to The Mandalorian Season 4, Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie, and Skeleton Crew Season 2, but also they have been begging her at last minute to return for a huge Star Wars project and/or projects that is going to be considered an Ahsoka Tano series spin-off show, in which they also offered her to return as Cara Dune to star alongside Rosario Dawson, along with Rangers of the New Republic getting unshelved at Disney to bring her back. Now, these two projects are planned to be the most expensive TV shows yet for the platform, and that they knew going in that Cara Dune's return would boost ratings significantly and bring a return of many lost Star Wars fans, in the millions, and those who unsubscribe from Disney Plus as well. It's Gina now also refusing to return to those projects that Disney is now in full panic mode, as they knew going in that Rangers of the New Republic and that series revolving around Ahsoka spin-off was, of course, going to be the big game changer, and how Rangers getting unshelved was heavily reliant on Gina returning as the main character, Cara Dune. Now, let me just say one thing about this before I get to the next segment about this entire development, is that you guys may or may not know this, but Rangers was ultimately shelved because of Gina's firing. Jon Favreau admitted about this, that it was tough to work around that script because of Gina's absence and without Cara Dune being at the front and center. Now, we know that Disney has been long trying to unshelve this project, and just recently they were in the process of doing that, thinking that Gina would absolutely take the bait and take the role again just because she wanted to please the fans. That's what Disney figured, and boy did they think wrong. You know, they really thought wrong there, because Gina stood up for herself. She had a lot of self-respect. She protected her dignity and declined. And the fact that Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger were using this as a marketing stunt, using this as a way to boost ratings, Gina most certainly realized that. She knew it was up, and she most certainly also realized that this most likely will be a short-lived thing anyway, so why even bother going and jumping on board of a sinking ship known as Disney. Alright? Because we know that half of the Star Wars projects out there that get announced end up getting delayed and or canceled anyway. And I think that Gina's also very much, informed about that and aware about all of that. So why even bother, right? That makes a lot of sense. But what's ultimately great about this is that Gina literally just shoved it in Disney's face, and it's putting them into a panic mode right now because they knew that Rangers was going to be a very big hit. Not just because it was going to be about Cara Dune, but, we'll talk about this in a second, it was going to feature Luke, Han, and Leia just after the events of Return of the Jedi. Let's discuss about that. Now, this series was also going to bring back characters like the original trio, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and General Leia Organa, in full deepfake technology fashion. As the show was going to take place on Endor, of course, picking up right after the events of Return of the Jedi, and moving on from there, leading up to 1 year of the Battle of Jakku. Now, with Gina refusing to return, this is creating a negative domino effect on Disney's efforts to win fans back, as Cara Dune will never return most likely now. Disney higher-ups have also discussed on how they could perhaps recast the character as a desperate Hail Mary to greenlight Rangers again, since this show is going to be the most expensive one yet that got shelved originally due to Gina's firing that complicated the script for Favreau. Now, here's the thing. If they want to recast, hey, they can do that, that's fine. No fans are going to care about that. I mean, let's just be honest here. Would you guys care? I mean, I think a lot of fans would care, but not in the positive sense. You know, I think that nobody's going to be convinced to watch a said show if they recast Cara Dune and make up for the losses of Gina Carano just declining and refusing to return. And you know what? It's people like Gina Carano that I fully respect. You know, the fact that she was offered all these projects that could have honestly given her a good stream of income. Let's be real. She declined that offer and does not want anything to do with Disney. You know what this reminds me of? This absolutely reminds me of when Johnny Depp got fired by Disney about the whole Amber Heard situation, and then when all of that got watered down and resolved, Disney was begging him to come back for Pirates 6. He declined. He absolutely just shoved it in their face as well and said, no thank you. What you did to me was irreplaceable. You cannot repair that. And so the same exact thing applies here with Gina Carano. She literally just Johnny Depped them and moved on. So that's also throwing them into panic. This, by the way, is also why Pirates of the Caribbean 6 has been in full limbo for a very long time now. They've been trying to get that project up and running for years. At first, they wanted to fully recast it as a all-female-led movie. That fell apart with Margot Robbie. And then they wanted to do Johnny Depp with his return. That too fell apart. But anyway, apart from everything ranging from Pirates and what Gina Carano did with Star Wars, Disney is just falling apart movie by movie, show by show. And it's just so crazy to believe that we live in an age where a production like Disney is just falling to its knees so fast. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.